Good morning. Mr. This is here. Today we're going to talk about quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is classified as a polygon that has four sides, a four-sided polygon. So let's list your quadrilaterals. Your quadrilaterals can be what you call a kite. So if you were to draw a kite, it goes this way. If you like to fly a kite, only has two consecutive congruent sides. That will be a kite. So don't consider a kite with a diamond. That is a kite. So that's one of your parallelogram. The other one is what's called a trapezoid. Trapezoid. To be a trapezoid, you must show that one pair of parallel line, meaning that the bases have to be parallel, meaning that AB will be parallel to CD. A trapezoid has one pair of parallel line. That's a trapezoid. And you can have what you call also an isosceles trapezoid. Right, well, an isosceles trapezoid is when you have the legs that are congruent. Same property. AB still parallel to CD. That's what makes it a trapezoid. However, AC is congruent to AB. That's what makes it an isosceles. AC is congruent to BD. Or the properties of trapezoid, that the bases are congruent. Base angle are congruent. Meaning that angle C is congruent to angle D, and angle A is congruent to angle B. And in the trapezoid also, since these are parallel, the bases are parallel, your AC become a transversal, so you will have angle C plus angle B will be supplementary, and angle B plus angle D are supplementary. In an isosceles trapezoid, diagonal are congruent. Those are properties that you will have to know. Diagonal are congruent, meaning that AD will be congruent to CB. Those are called diagonal. Diagonal are congruent in a trapezoid. So let's recap for isosceles trapezoid. Bases are parallel, as always. That's what makes it a trapezoid. You must have one pair of opposite sides are congruent, which are the bases. The legs are congruent, and pair of base angle are congruent, and next your diagonal are congruent. That's properties of trapezoid. So the other properties of a parallelogram of a quadrilaterals, what you call parallelograms. Right? To be parallelograms, you must have both pair of opposite sides are parallel. The definition of a parallelogram. Meaning that AB will be parallel to CD. Right? AB is parallel to CD, and AC is parallel to BD. The definition of a parallelogram. Both pair of opposite sides are parallel. So only there we're going to discuss more properties of a parallelogram. So definition of a parallelogram, that both pair of opposite sides are parallel. Then we have what we call a square. To be considered a square, you must have 4 congruent sides and 4 congruent angles. Right? And that all sides are congruent, 4 congruent sides, and in addition to that, you have 4 right angles. In order to have right angle, you must have perpendicular line. So remember those properties. For a square, you have 4 right angles. And 4 congruent sides. Since you have 4 right angles, it is equiangular. Equiangular, and it is also equilateral, equal side. Right? That's a square. Next one, you have what you call a rectangle. Rectangle has 4 right angles. Remember, if it's 4 right angle, in this case it is equiangular. Remember, whenever you have perpendicular line, right angle form perpendicular line. So if you have 4 right angle, you will have perpendicular line from prior knowledge. And we have what you call a diamond slash rhombus. Slice diamond, same thing. Do not confuse rhombus with kite. A rhombus, a diamond considered as a baseball field. That's 4 consecutive congruent sides, 4 congruent sides, 4 congruent sides. In this case, it is equilateral. Those are your quadrilaterals. So quadrilaterals, let's recap. We have what you call a kite that has consecutive congruent side. Do not compare a kite with diamond, right? A kite has two consecutive congruent side, whereas a diamond has 4 congruent side. So there's a big distinction. We have a trapezoid that has a pair of parallel lines. The bases are parallel in the trapezoid, and we also have isosceles trapezoid where the legs are congruent. Legs are congruent in isosceles trapezoid, and the bases are parallel. So if you have an isosceles trapezoid, you will have base angles are congruent, the bottom angles are congruent, the upper angles are congruent. Those are called base angles because they form with the base. And diagonal are congruent. Diagonal are non-consecutive vertices. So the diagonal will be congruent in the isosceles trapezoid. Since you have parallel lines, the bases are parallel, the legs will form, you will have the sideways angle will be supplementary. Those are properties of isosceles trapezoid. So we also have parallelogram. A parallelogram is defined as a four-sided polygon that has 2 pairs of parallel lines. As you can see towards parallelogram, the keywords is, the root words is parallelogram. So you will have 2 pair of parallel lines. The opposite sides, both pair of opposite sides are parallel in the parallelogram. We have a square that has 4 congruent sides and 4 congruent angles. In this case, a square is equiangular and it is equilateral. So since you have congruent angles, for 90 degrees angles, anything that form right angles will be perpendicular. So be aware of that. So you can use distance to find the length. You can use the slope to find. You can use slope formula to find the slope, and since they are perpendicular, you can use the opposite reciprocal equal to prove that will be there. And we have a rectangle that has 4 right angles, and in this case this is equiangular. And we have rhombus slash diamond. So rhombus slash diamond, it has 4 congruent sides, whereas consecutive sides are congruent. So another property of rhombus that diagonals are perpendicular. So the non-consecutive vertices, diagonal are non-consecutive vertices. So the diagonal will form 90 degrees at the intersection. So be aware of that. Alright. Now if you go back to rectangle, diagonal are congruent in the rectangles. So the non-consecutive side diagonal are congruent. Alright. And same thing for square, diagonal are congruent and also perpendicular for a square. So those are some properties of those figures. So diagonal are perpendicular, they form 90 degrees angle. Those are your properties of quadrilaterals. Now, out of the quadrilaterals, we're going to focus on what that are called parallelograms. Your parallelograms has things in common. So your parallelograms are considered squares. Squares is a parallelogram. In this case, you will have both pair of opposite sides are parallel. So So in this case, AB, side AB will be parallel to side CD, and side AC will be parallel to side BD. So that's the definition of parallelogram. Both opposite sides are parallel. Other than the other specific properties that they have. The rectangle also is a parallelogram. Therefore, both opposite sides are parallel. You will have AB is parallel to CD, and remember that parallel have same slope. That's something you need to consider when you will have to prove that it is a parallelogram. Prove that they have the same slope. Right. AB is parallel to CD, and AC is parallel to BD. For diamond also is a parallelogram. Therefore, AB will be parallel to CD in this case. Alright, and BC will be parallel to AD. BC will be parallel to AD. So those are some properties of parallelograms. Now if it's a parallelograms, opposite side are congruent. If it's a parallelogram, opposite side are congruent, meaning that AB is congruent to CD, right? And AC is congruent to BC. Then the parallelogram opposite side are congruent. Alright, that's properties of parallelograms. Alright, in a parallelogram, opposite angle are congruent. Angle that are face each other are congruent. In this case, angle A is congruent to angle D in a parallelogram. Opposite angle are congruent. Nature of angle A is congruent to nature of angle D. Right? And nature of angle C is congruent to nature of angle B. So in a parallelogram, opposite angle are congruent. In this case, we have angle A is congruent to angle B. Right? In a parallelogram, also consecutive angle are supplementary. Consecutive angle are supplementary. So measure of angle A plus measure of angle B will be equal to 180. Consecutive angle are supplementary. So measure of angle A plus measure of angle C will be equal to 180. Consecutive angle are supplementary. Those are properties that we need to know. So parallelogram has plenty of properties. If we know those properties, you will be able to get your equation faster and faster. So those are properties of parallelograms. You need to go look at those properties. Let's recap. A parallelogram is a four-sided polygon where both pair of opposite sides are parallel. That definition of a parallelogram. And your parallelograms are square. That is for congruent angles, for right angles. and for congruent sides. In a square is equiangular and equilateral, meaning that's for congruent angle, for right angles, and it's also have for congruent side. It is equiangular and it is equilaterals. A rectangle has four right angles. Since it's a parallelogram, both opposite sides are parallel. In a square, diagonal are congruent. They diagonally equal to each other. Alright, in a square, consecutive angles are supplementary. So a square is equiangular. It has four right angles, or congruent angles. For a rhombus that diagonal are perpendicular, it has four congruent sides. And lastly, in a parallelogram, diagonal bisect each other. In a parallelogram, diagonal bisect each other. Remember what bisect means. Bisect is split into two congruent parts. So those are main properties you're going to face. Those are your properties of quadrilaterals and properties of parallelograms. Now the only thing that we have to do is to do some application. Go study your properties of parallelogram, then you will make it great. That was Mr. DC's in another one. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.